Today on Anatomy of a Movie, we're talking about the 2019 Academy Award nominations. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Anatomy of a Movie.
Hello, movie lovers. Welcome back to the Popcorn Talk Network. We are here doing Anatomy of a Movie, a special kind of show today. We're covering the 2019 91st Academy Award nominations. We're going to talk all about our predictions of who's going to win, who should win, and all that and more. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini. Joining me, I have...
Hey everyone, I'm Mina Wahab.
Hey movie fans, Demetri Panos here. How's it going, everybody?
Yes, I'm very excited. It's going great. I'm very, very excited to cover all the movies that are nominated this year because it is the Academy Awards season. I feel like the last 4 months of all the movies that have been released really adds up to this upcoming weekend and this amazing, prestigious show. So, we're going to get into it. Mina, what are your thoughts?
I'm just super thankful to MoviePass and AMC because I have seen so many movies this past year.
Right.
Yeah, my thoughts, I think it hasn't been the strongest category for Best Picture, surprisingly, this year, but I'm still excited to talk about all of these movies.
Awesome. And Demetri, I know you are.
Yeah, I am. I mean, this year for me, because there's been so much controversy, so much of a train wreck that will be the Academy Awards, that I actually, for the first time in a long time, I don't care. I mean, with all the controversy that's happened, I actually think it's a normal in any given year without all the craziness that's gone around with there being a host and not a host. We're going to do these categories and not these categories. In any normal year, I actually think that the Best Picture nominations are really strong, with the exception of one movie. But I actually think it's a well-rounded title of films that we have, because they go from everything from commercial, which rarely happens, meaning A Star is Born, which commercial success,
Yeah.
Black Panther, commercial success, even movies like The Green Book, smaller movies which did really well, and I really think it's very well rounded out, even things like The Favorite. So for me, it's unfortunate that all the drama that has led up to this weekend really has taken focus away from the films.
The actual hard work that went into the film.
Exactly. And I've always maintained that this past year, 2018, has been one of the better years for movies across the boards. If you don't like superhero movies, there were great art house films. There was everything balanced out, everything fed into the box office, and you had a multitude of types of movies that everybody could have gone to. That's why I really do like our Best Picture categories. I think other categories like actress and things like that are hard, but we're going to get into all that stuff.
We're definitely going to take it one by one as much as we can, and I encourage all you to follow along because we are definitely going to be there Sunday night to watch all this. And as I hope anyone who's watching, all the movies and studies them like we do, I hope you're going to enjoy this one. So let's just starting up real quick. Visual effects. We have Avengers Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, Ready Player One, and Solo, A Star Wars Story. And we can probably go down the line of who we think will win and who we think should win, or, honorable mentions. I think I'm actually very torn. I think it's either Avengers or Ready Player One.
I would say Avengers just because it was one of the biggest movies of the summer. It was huge. It was something that audiences loved and critics enjoyed as well. And it was known for its visual effects. I can't see anything else taking over that. I don't think Star Wars is going to beat Avengers for visual effects.
Demetri?
I would go with, where I think it may go Avengers, but I think Ready Player One's the movie that deserves it.
Yes,
Spielberg and company, again, created new technologies to do this. And from the opening scene of Ready Player One to the visualization, like the opening race scene, throwing so much pop culture from the T-Rex and then King Kong, and having that in a virtual
90s.
world. and then the stacks and how that was represented from the books, and then going into the floating dance, and then the recreation of The Shining in Ready Player One. For all of those reasons, I think it deserves, because of the detail, the time, and the attention, and the beauty of it all. I think it deserves to win the Academy Award, although you never know with the Academy. They may go with the more popular Avengers movie, but personally, if I were betting, I would put my money on Ready Player One.
Yeah, I'd say Ready Player One. Academy loves Spielberg, and when we did that dissection for that movie, we talked about there was a whole 45 minutes that we talked strictly visual effects.
We did. We really
so
did.
I mean, yes, Avengers covers 10 different storylines that all just mix together, and it is comic book, but also we know Academy Award doesn't give as much attention to the comic book movies as much as they should, but Ready Player One is definitely deserving.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. It's, it was one of my favorites of last year too, but I mean, just from a visual effects standpoint.
So solid. Yeah, it's so solid. All right, moving on to costume design. We had The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Panther, The Favorite, Mary Poppins, Mary Queen of Scots. I think it should be Mary Queen of Scots. The designer Alexandra Barner, she's had 5 Academy Award nominations already, and she's already won for Elizabeth. And the dresses in that film, beautiful. Mina, what are your thoughts?
I loved the movie Mary Queen of Scots. I thought the costume design was brilliant, and I think period pieces tend to win when it comes to costume design. However, I think this year it is going to go to Black Panther. I just don't see how it wouldn't. I think it was a movie that made such a huge statement. And time and time again, we've seen the actors from the movie Black Panther making fashion statements, dressing in the Black Panther type costume design at award shows. I feel like it's going to be the year of Black Panther for this category.
Yeah, for me, costume design, for me, it comes down to The Favorite and Mary Queen of Scots, personally. I wouldn't mind if Mary Poppins wins, but I don't think it will. I am going to go for The Favorite. I think costumes in The Favorite, they actually played a part. They were part of the satire, depending on how you had the wigs and the Tories, and the wigs was so ornate and they were so coiffed up. There were roosters. The men wearing the wigs were literally roosters, and that's what
the wigs had their own trailer.
Character they did.
I mean, come on.
So I'm gonna go with The Favorite. I'm gonna go with The Favorite is the one that should win, and that's the one that I want to win.
Okay, it's a toss-up between Mary Queen and The Favorite. I wouldn't mind if whoever wins in that. For makeup and hair, we have Border, Mary Queen of Scots, and Weiss. Mary Queen of Scots, I think.
I definitely think Weiss on this one, because the transformation of Christian Bale to Dick Cheney, incredible. Sam Rockwell to George Bush, wonderful. I just think that movie, that was the one thing that I paid attention to the most, was just the transformations.
Okay. Hollywood loves transformation stories.
Oh, absolutely. I just don't understand, with all the movies that have come out in 2018, you pick 2 movies that are relatively known. Well, Weiss is probably the most known, Mary Queen of Scots second. Border? I don't understand.
Yeah,
okay.
no offense to Border, but
No offense.
I don't know anyone who saw it.
Yeah, no offense, Border, but there were other movies that had come out utilizing, that could have used, that had some great makeup, whether it's a great science fiction movie or it's like you said, even a Black Panther, or I just don't get it.
Even The Favorite. I'm surprised that wasn't up there for makeup and hair.
I'm very surprised,
because that was a huge,
especially Emma Stone. Yeah, I don't get it. Personally,
the updos, the wigs, everything.
You love the transformation of, both of you love the transformation of Christian Bale, but also the transformation for Margot Robbie. She became Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And they had to make her ugly. Ugly is terrible. Ugly is a terrible word. I'm sorry.
No, I know what you're
They had
saying.
to,
Right.
Margot Robbie is gorgeous, so they had to put makeup on her to make her less attractive.
Honestly,
And she did.
almost forgot about that. That's such a good point right now.
the
That is
boils.
such a good point. But I still vote for Weiss.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going
That's
to go
fair.
with this one, Mary Queen of Scots,
Yeah.
for makeup. You know, there is one thing, too, since we were talking a little bit about snubs, and forgive me, I'm just going back 1 second.
Yeah, who should win?
I don't understand, just going back to visual effects, how Blade Runner wasn't. Blade Runner came out last year, right? 2049?
No,
Did
it
it?
came out
I thought it was 2 years ago.
October 2017.
Oh, my God, I feel like
But it won
was just last year.
cinematography last year,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
it was already in last year's.
But
run.
forgive me then, it feels like it was just yesterday. I mean, time
it's
just
a great
flies. But I think makeup and hairstyling, I think there should be more. There should be like at least
there's
2
only
more.
3.
There's only 3.
What the heck?
And there's so many movies that came out in last year that could have been deserving. Where you watch the movie and go, wow, what a really good job. I can't recognize them. And I understand what you're saying about Weiss, right? We saw that with Churchill and Gary Oldman, right?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
He
They
became
love that.
Churchill.
He became Churchill, and
Yeah.
he became, and Christian Bale became that devil.
Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney.
But,
Who, by the way, didn't die. It was all a
but
hoax.
I go with your assessment because you're right. What you can do to Margot Robbie.
That is such a good
that's what
point.
I-
Come on.
That's such a good point that I
that's
don't know
what I
which
go
way
with.
it's gonna go.
Yeah,
That is
that's
such
what I
a
go
There's
with.
even a moment in that movie where she takes off the wig, and you're
Right.
like, oh, it's visually, it's painful, but the makeup
Yes.
sells it.
Yes.
So I would give it to Mary Queen.
I agree. That's what I go with too.
All right, original song. We have All the Stars from Black Panther, I'll Fight from RBG, The Place Where Lost Things Go, Mary Poppins, Shallow, A Star Is Born, and When a Cowboy Trades the Spurs for the Four Wings, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Shallow, done. A Star Is Born.
Yeah, 100% Shallow, Star
has
is
to.
Born. Like, I can't imagine it going to anything else, especially that song was played again and again and again and
And
again.
to say that I rewatched A Star Is Born last night is not a lie. So, I mean,
Did
that.
you cry this time?
No, because I've seen it 1.5 times now, but it is just so well done. They did 17 sound mixes for that song. It's winning every award, and for whatever award is being nominated, it really doesn't have any other song to go
Yeah.
up against. I mean, this is Shallow's here.
Yeah, I think that, my prediction is this is the only award that Star is Born wins.
Unfortunately, I think so too.
Personally, I really did enjoy The Place Where Lost Things Go. I mean, this is a movie about, that is a song about loss. And it really resonated. I thought it was really well written, but you can't take away, what Shallow was, and that one's
So
just
great.
like, if there is a sure bet in the Oscars, I think Shallow, an original song, is it.
Yeah.
That's the one sure bet of all the categories this year.
Star
That's
is
the
Born is
one
gonna get
thing.
it.
And it
Shallow.
makes you feel like you listen to it,
Oh,
you get
it's-
goosebumps.
Honestly,
so
and
good.
like also the thing about Shallow, you can listen to it over and over again. You can sing it over and over again. Where the Place Where Lost Things Go, you can't really see. There's no repeating factor on that. Shallow, like you can repeat that song all day.
But personally, if it were up to me, and I know this isn't nominated, I think it should go to I'll Never Love Again, A Star Is Born, the song at the very, very end. I think that was much stronger than Shallow, but Shallow is wildly more popular.
That or Always Remember Us This Way. That was also a very strong song
Yeah.
from that soundtrack.
I'm shocked that multiple songs weren't nominated from A Star Is Born. I'm surprised it only got
Yeah.
one song in there because the songs were incredible.
Yes, but to be fair, I think A Star Is Born easily could have got nominated for 3-4 different songs, but for the promotion and all the trailers and stuff,
Yeah.
Shallow was
Shallow
the one that
was
they
driving
were pushing the
force.
most.
They
So
really
makes
were.
sense. All right, so original score, we have Black Klansman. If Beale Street Could Talk, I Love Dogs, Mary Poppins. I think if Beale Street,
Black Panther.
Black Panther. I think if Beale Street Could Talk, that because the theme at the end of that film, I just remember I felt emotional at the end because you felt the struggle that the two couples went through. and what they were still going through at the end. And for some reason, I remember If Beale Street Could Talk soundtrack more than all the others.
That's exactly how I feel. I normally don't pay super close attention to the soundtrack in movies, but when I watched If Beale Street Could Talk, it was so prominent and so beautiful and so moving. And there's like this beautiful like classical sound, even though there were jazz elements here and there, like interspersed between the movie. It was I thought it was the best soundtrack out of any of the films that we've seen this year.
Yeah,
Demetri?
I think for me, it could either go If Beale Street Could Talk or Black Klansman. I think that, and I was just looking up because I just want to make sure that I'm correct here, but I believe Black Klansman was another collaboration between Spike Lee and Terrence Blanchard, and I really think that his score was yet another score that was just phenomenal for what he was able to, Terrence Blanchard, for Black Klansman, and what it did for that movie and how it played. It was like the perfect bed. But again, the same can easily be said about If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah, because Nicholas Britell won for Moonlight. And he was the same composer for If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah, Terrence Blanchard, I would love to see him win, but I wouldn't be unhappy if Beale Street Could Talk. I think it's between those two for the original score.
Same.
Again, I'm surprised that somebody like Alan Silvestri wasn't nominated for like Ready Player One.
Right.
Again, because that score was amazing, and the way he was intertwining other pop score movies, I thought was fantastic. There were so many,
And there were a lot of
movies that had come out.
diegetic actual songs
Yeah.
on that movie. I mean, we heard a score, but the things that you remember the most were the actual original songs.
Yeah,
so you can't really give it to him when the songs were more memorable. All right, moving on to production design, we have Black Panther, First Man, The Favorite, Mary Poppins Return, and Roma. Ooh, this is a hard one.
This is so hard. Honestly, I'm like at a loss for. I'm at a tie with a couple of them right now.
Right. I put Black Panther because they had to create a whole world for that. And it was believable. It was futuristic, but yet still realistic at the same time. And overall, gorgeous film.
Yeah. For me, I would say either The Favorite or Roma. The Favorite because like everything was just immaculate, just like what you were saying earlier with the wigs and like the setting and the lighting, everything was so beautiful and beautifully done, and there was so much detail, so much attention to detail there. And then for Roma, I would say it's very rare to have a movie where you feel like you're actually there, and to the point where it just feels so authentic and raw and real. And that's why I feel like they did a great job with the production design, from, I don't know, just how the house was and how it felt welcoming to just every single detail throughout the entire film. I just feel like it's going to be a toss-up between Roma or The Favorite for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, it goes either The Favorite or Mary Poppins Returns. I really loved in Mary Poppins Returns what they did with England. The house, Admiral Boom's rooftop, and just the way that the whole that movie looked. Going to The Favorite again, the attention to the design, utilizing the castle. We talked about The Favorite, and how they utilized their sets and what they brought to life for that time period. I thought was fantastic. So for me, it's if either one wins, I think, and hope that it'll go to The Favorite. My heart says I'd love to see Mary Poppins. I think it'll be The Favorite.
Oh yeah, Mary Poppins was actually very solid with the musical numbers. I mean, we had the whole street lamp number, which was like 7 minutes long, and also the book cases going up and down. So I mean, Mary Poppins has a very strong chance in that as well. Sound mixing,
If it were to win, it would be the only thing. Again, like we said with the original song, if Mary Poppins is to pull out anything, that would be the only win that it would get.
Yeah, agreed. Moving on to sound mixing, we have Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, Roma, and A Star is Born. I'm torn between A Star is Born or Bohemian Rhapsody. Because the main crux of the movie is music. It's music related, and when it comes to music, there's a lot of sound mixing and sound editing. They kind of go hand in hand, but I think both did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I would say Bohemian Rhapsody for this one specifically. I feel like there was so much that was done with, even when they're like going over the name of the title of the movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, that song specifically, and how that was pieced together in the movie with the mixing of sound and them going over and over and over again to get that perfect song in that scene.
Again.
Yeah.
I get higher.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to go to Bohemian Rhapsody for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's either, I'm with you, Marissa. I think I go A Star is Born in Bohemian Rhapsody. A Star is Born, for me, one of the aspects of the movie that surprised me was how immersive it was. And I saw A Star is Born at the Dolby, an AMC Dolby.
Yeah, we talked about that.
In an AMC Dolby Theater. And when you were brought on stage, the sound was so amazing. Like, it was an amazing concert. It was a great concert footage for a concert that never existed. It was great concert footage. Bohemian Rhapsody goes under the same thing as well, because that actually was creating these concerts that happened, and you got to see how things were sound mixed. But I think for the sound mixing, really, A Star is Born really made me feel as if I were on stage with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, and that was part of the visceral appeal of A Star is Born for me.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I know they kind of go hand in hand, sound mixing and sound editing, because our next category is actually sound editing. But I think who should definitely get honorable mention also, or who didn't get mentioned, was A Quiet Place.
For sound mixing.
For sound mixing. Because, I mean, there were so many moments where you see the, spoiler alert, monster, and off screen, but in the same scene, you would see like a deaf child, and then the actual sound of what the audience is hearing, like literally seconds back to back. So, and I think that definitely goes with sound mixing. So
yeah, I mean, if you want to do an honorable mention too, for me, I go back to like Ready Player One. The sound in that movie, and I saw that at the Warner Brothers screening room, like especially that opening race, when you can, and the final battle when Iron Giant comes out, and it was, again, immersive, just a wonderful immersive experience. And I would even say Infinity War.
I'd also,
the sound in Infinity War was something pretty amazing as well.
I would also put Annihilation. You remember that?
Yeah.
With the whole monstrous bear creature enigma kind of thing that was, because they mixed like 3 different animal sounds. So
it's interesting. I think with below the line categories, a lot of times what happens is there's probably 20 great selections here. So the way they narrow it down is just by picking the most critically acclaimed ones and just making those the choices. These probably aren't technically the best 5 sound mix films of the year, but in the large crop of options, they're the most critically acclaimed, is what I think.
Okay.
And they're the most recent, because Annihilation came out March of 2018, so it was a little too early in the year. But hey, Ready Player One's still getting some nominations here and there.
Sure.
But that moves us into sound editing. We have Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, A Quiet Place, and Roma. I think it's Bohemian Rhapsody. Out of that choice, Bohemian.
Yeah, A Star is Born isn't even an option in this one, so I would say Bohemian Rhapsody again.
I would say Bohemian Rhapsody for the montages that we had.
Yeah, I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody is a good one. Listen, I'm not going to get on my Roma soapbox, but sound played a major part of this, so do not be surprised if it takes both of these awards. I'm not picking it because I have my reasons why. For me, for sound editing, to me, this is a tough category, because for all the reasons you mentioned, A Quiet Place, I really think that A Quiet Place also fits into this category too, as far as sound editing. Where are you going to add sound? How do you take sound away? How do you mute the sound? How do you make it loud? to me, that was an incredible feat at what they were able to do. But another movie that we haven't really talked about, too, is First Man. Now, I wasn't a fan of the movie First Man. However, I can't take away from the sound, from when that rocket blasts off, when they are in space. The use or lack of sound too was very striking in that movie and how it was put together. Personally, I would like to see A Quiet Place win. I wouldn't be upset if Bohemian won. I just have a feeling it might go to Roma.
Interesting.
I think Roma's going to win.
Why Roma for that?
Well, because Roma, again, one of the
It's Quran.
critical things that have one of the positive things, one of the major assets of Roma has been its sound and the way the sound has been utilized and edited into the movie. So when a jet is seen in the reflection of a puddle and it's flying overhead, how that's edited in, why is that important? Now,
We have
to
the whole
me-
water puddle.
right,
At the
to me
beginning
the
and
whole
the end.
thing with Roma is that had you not seen it in a theater, you will not get those wonderful nuances.
Yeah,
And
that's probably
I don't
why.
know how many people here saw Roma in a theater. I did not, to be honest with you, because it's a Netflix movie. But people who have been talking about Roma talk about the importance of its sound editing and sound mixing. I didn't pick it. I told you the ones that I thought
Right.
could win.
I would love
So-
A Quiet Place. Also, check out another show that we do here on the Fly Filmmaking. We actually had the sound editors, Ethan Van Der Ven, Eric Adol, come in and talk about it because they had to develop sound envelopes for a movie that you can't speak. So it is basically 85%
Right.
sound. So I think it really should go to A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to film editing: Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Green Book, The Favorite, and Weiss. Ooh, I think Bohemian Rhapsody. It'd be great if our friend John Ottman won.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go to Bohemian Rhapsody just because there were so many scenes that were so long and they could have condensed that film, edited it down. Like I didn't
fair.
think it was the strongest thing about that movie. I think it's gonna go to Vice. Well, I don't think it's gonna go to Vice. I want it to go to Vice just because there were so many parts that stood out stylistically where they made it seem like the movie was gonna end, and then they're like, "Oh, just kidding." It
False
was
post-credit thing.
it was fun. The editing was really fun. It had a very unique style to it. It helped move the plot forward by showing, like, by making it a satire, by showing something so serious, but through a comedic lens. So I definitely feel like the editing of Vice was one of its strongest features.
Okay, Demetri.
Yeah, for me, this one's a tough one. I totally get what you're saying about Bohemian Rhapsody. I would love to see John Ottman win an award, and his efforts in Bohemian Rhapsody, considering everything surrounding that movie, I think it worked. I disagree. I think the editing from the 70s and how to make it look like a 70s movie, the concert footage, the montage
70s to
sequences,
80s.
right? The montage sequences of literally getting a song off the ground in the studio and what we're seeing from cutting from singing to swinging speakers to the concert footage at the Live Aid. I really think in making it look real and making it cohesive and giving a pace. I really think that the editing is one of the things that saves it and keeps Bohemian Rhapsody at a really pace that people like. But I also think that the editing in Black Klansman is just, again, I think that Black Klansman is Spike Lee's most accomplished movie. And I think the editing in that film was just fantastic. And again, he was using different camera angles, and piecing this together and capturing performance in Black Klansman to me was amazing. So for me, I think it'll go Bohemian Rhapsody, but I would love to see Black Klansman get it.
Okay.
Real quick, interesting tidbit. Mina, I'm glad you brought up Vice. That is the movie that's been most divisive with its editing. So some critics have said the editing is the thing that makes the movie what it is. And for those who hate Weiss, they say the editing is clunky and obtrusive. So
Really?
yeah, it just depends. I think it depends on if you like the movie or not.
I really liked it.
And also the editing was purposely, you can tell a Democrat edited it.
Yeah.
Just saying. But also, I think an honorable mention that I'm surprised didn't get any searching. We talked, we talked about that film, but how long it took for them to edit from screen to screen. And granted, I know it was a different type of convention of filming, but the editing process
Marisa,
worked so perfectly in that
Marisa,
film.
I think you're 100% on this one.
They should
I
definitely
don't know
nominate.
why. I don't know why they don't pay attention. I don't like Searching deserved a lot of more love. I think, especially in a tech category. And I had met the editors. The work that they put into that movie and how they made it cohesive.
Ridiculous.
I mean, and how
It's
they
like flawless.
how they
like
made
how they
them-
just go from scene to scene to scene.
and they kept the pace, and the editing takes you out of the fact, like, you forget that all you're watching a movie screen, but you're watching a screen within a screen within a screen, and they kept it cohesive, and they kept the pacing going, and they kept the mystery going. I
How
agree
it
with you
didn't
100%.
get nominated is a travesty.
It's a movie that relied on its editing
Yeah.
in order for it to be.
It's all editing.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, I think in consensus we all agreed Bohemian Rhapsody might take that one. So, all right. Best foreign language film: Capernaum, Cold War, Never Look Away, and Roma and Shoplifters. Admittedly, I've only seen one, but I've heard good things about Cold War as well, and that's kind of being another front runner for foreign. Because I think right now the race is between Roma and Cold War.
I've only seen Roma, so I can only speak to that. But, you know, it's already gotten 10 nominations for the Oscars. It is loved and hailed by critics.
And it's already won
awards.
Yeah, Golden Globes, Critics'
Yeah.
Choice, and BAFTA.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Roma, but I don't have the fullest understanding just because I haven't seen the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if there wasn't so much momentum for Roma, I would say this is the award that it's deserved to win, is the foreign language film. But again, here's my caveat. Here is where I will soften up and say that Roma should win foreign language, but I believe it'll go to Cold War. Cold War is the one that I would put my money down on.
Okay, I hear
At the end
Cold
of the
War
day.
is great. Unfortunately, it's such a limited, for foreign language, it's usually very limited, even for us here in LA who have access to basically all the movies.
Sure.
Even Cold War was very limited and to see it. But the Academy loves Alfonso Cuarón, and it's already been winning the past awards, so Roma has a good chance of winning that. All right, best live action short film. Again, it is hard to cover these particular categories because they're really only available to the members of Academy Awards who have screeners to it. But best live action short film, we have Detainment, Fauve, Marguerite, Mother, and Skin.
I'm going with Mother. And I can't I don't have another, there's no snub. That's where I would put my money on.
Mother. Unfortunately, I can't really speak to this one because I have not seen all of them. There are a few categories that are hard to cover because not even us and the regular audience haven't even seen them, let alone heard of them. So, all right, moving on to best documentary short subject, we have Black Sheep, Endgame, Lifeboat, A Night at the Garden, Period, End of Sentence. I've seen two of them. I've seen Endgame and Period, End of Sentence. Both are serious subjects. Endgame was a downer. I was like, you have to be in a mood for that one because it is about health and being in the hospital. One story we're focusing on a woman who has cancer. So I mean, it's a health type of documentary, and it's not a happy one either. But it's hard to pick because I haven't seen the other ones, but Period, End of Sentence was actually pretty interesting. Have any of you seen any of
Lifeboat,
these?
I would go with. is the Academy loves downers, but I couldn't watch Endgame.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know you can't.
Just couldn't do it. Won't do it.
But period end of sentence is actually very interesting because it just makes you realize here in America how blessed we are to have access to such simple toiletries where the women in a whole completely different country don't, and they have to make their own tampons and pads for their womanly time of the month. It's actually very fascinating. It makes you just realize what other third world countries go through. So, for a good documentary subject, I think that should definitely get some credit there. All right, moving on to Best Documentary, we have Free Solo, Hill County, This Morning, This Evening, Minding the Gap of Fathers and Son, and RBG. I'd either say Free Solo or RBG. Everyone's loving Free Solo because of the immersive visuals of actually climbing. It takes you to a place where not many people can go.
No.
And so it's either Free Solo or RBG for me. You know?
I've heard the most about RBG. I've heard a little bit about Minding the Gap, but I haven't seen these, so I really can't speak to them.
Yeah, I mean, my heart goes for RBG, and the only thing at this point that I would say is going for it, outside of it being an outstanding movie, our political landscape, the Academy being who they are, might go for it, but I really honestly think that if you're betting, you go with Free Solo because of its just, number one, it's a documentary and it's a extremely visceral experience that you would normally get in a Mission Impossible movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like you're seeing it play out live. So that's what people are gravitating towards, and I understand. Wouldn't be upset at all if Free Solo wins. I was a really big supporter of RBG from the beginning. I love that movie, and I learned. I came away from both those. I came away from the movies learning something, but RBG, like my heart says, I really want that movie to win.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to go Free Solo. And again, wouldn't be unhappy.
I think really the only thing going against RBG, because it's a very solid documentary. I was laughing, but also learning a lot of things about her life. It is very politically driven as well. And sometimes
not really. No, there are many Republicans in that movie. I mean, when you look at the landscape today, many people are still in office who pushed her through. Right. That today, and that's one of the things that shocked the hell out of me while watching that movie, is going, oh, he did what? Wow. Orrin Hatch is and I'm like going, you got to be kidding me. And so to me, that was a time when really bipartisanship meant something. And this woman touched people on both parties. That to me was the strength of RBG. That is the strength of her. And I didn't find it to be, I thought it was going to be politically leaning towards one way, but when you saw her with Scalia too, I was like, they were the best of friends outside. And to me, that to me was the strength, because I came away, walking away, didn't thinking that it was leaning either way, because that's just the woman that she is.
Yeah,
and it was a wonderful, I came away feeling really fantastic. And rooting for RBG. So when you hear that she's in the hospital, you just go, oh,
you feel for her. It's like, fight, woman, fight.
And that's all she's done.
I know, in
life. So
don't mess with RBG. But also, we would be remiss if we didn't mention "Won't You Be My Neighbor" should have been.
Yeah. Well,
where the heck is it?
Well,
I don't. It should have been on this list.
That documentary. It made me tear up.
We all watched it. It was fantastic. It was very informative.
Yeah, I don't.
Why wasn't it?
It was feel good.
Yeah, I don't understand. Well, there are actually two documentaries that I'm very shocked didn't make this list. Won't You Be My Neighbor being one of them. Again, being a documentary and being that it makes you feel really good, and there's nothing wrong with that today. And I think it's really needed. And and the movie was really discussed. It was discussed equally as much, if not even more, than RBG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't understand why it didn't get any Academy love.
And it came around at the same time in the summer.
Almost the same,
within
week,
1 or 2 weeks of each other.
It's seemingly so. And then the other movie that I was very surprised about, because it got a lot of positive mentions and notices, was Three Identical Strangers.
Yeah.
Again, another story that you go, oh my God, like that's crazy that could happen and did happen. And again, it had I don't know, I don't understand where the Academy love was for documentary. I don't get it. I get Solo, a Free Solo, and I get RBG. I get Mind the Gap, but these other two
should have also been on. It's and it just makes me wonder, why some categories only have 3 nominations and why don't have enough.
Right.
Who decides who gets we're only going to pick 3 for
so
this?
arbitrary.
Well, what the heck?
It seems that way.
All right, so moving on to cinematography, we have Cold War, The Favorite, Never Look Away, Roma, and A Star Is Born. Honestly, I think it's going to go to Roma because, again, Academy loves Alfonso Cuarón. He's won cinematography already for Gravity. It makes sense, Roma. And they spent so much time. That movie is 50%, if more than that, just cinematography. You're just watching everything on screen. You're waiting for someone to talk.
I wouldn't mind if it was The Favorite or Roma. The Favorite was great with its cinematography, but I think Roma had a very special style where, it's you're honing in on every single thing that happens, from when he pulls up into his car with his cigarette to every detail, and
3
then you
minutes
also
of parking a car.
and you also see all of Mexico, and the camera's following along with the protagonist of the movie. So I think it's gonna be Roma, but it could possibly be The Favorite.
Yeah, Demetri.
Yeah, I mean, I go with The Favorite. Listen, Roma for me
Fisheye?
is, well, here's what I loved about The Favorite. It wasn't just the fisheye, it was just the look where, just various scenes when Emma Stone's character gets booted out of the carriage. And it's almost as if she's coming right at you. The wipes, the fisheye lens, when she's up in the I don't want to say the rafters, but when she's on the staircase, seeing the little twist go on, and then the camera comes down. I mean, I really thought the cinematography was beautiful in this. Had I seen Roma in a movie theater, I would have thought that the cinematography was fantastic. 90% of the country couldn't see Roma in a movie theater, so it gets nothing from me. So I'm going to go with The Favorite. I think
It's
will be
also
Roma.
hard. I mean, I'm kind of biased because I did see Roma the first time I saw it. I saw it on a 70-inch screen, so I did have a big screen to watch it on, and I think that felt more immersive than watching it on my cell phone or a laptop like normal people would when they're
But it's
watching
not
a
movie
Netflix
theater
movie.
screen. Even a landmark small theater.
Yes, it was released via Netflix, but they did have a very, very limited release in theaters
that
as well.
not many people can get to.
No, I know.
So,
I know.
I mean, it was a disservice, I think, to the movie, but
in a way, it opened up more doors for people worldwide to see it because of Netflix.
Yeah, and everyone's talking about the whole ocean scene at the end of Roma, so I think, and give it to Alfonso Cuarón because he actually did the cinematography for it.
I gotta say real quick, it's very interesting. There are more foreign films nominated here than American films, and I wonder if that's unprecedented for the awards or not.
I did not notice that. Yeah, good
It's
point.
interesting. There's a good amount. All right, moving on to original screenplay. The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, and Roma and Weiss. I would love if we went to Green Book because it's so solid. Mina?
I don't know. I think I could see it going to Weiss just because, Adam McKay had to take a lot of, artistic freedom and liberty to fill in the gaps where no knowledge existed. So it could be that he used his creativity to kind of retell a story in American history that we don't have every single detail of. But at the same time, Green Book has already won for the Golden Globes.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was a surprise win, too, so you don't knock it.
So that's why I'm
knock it.
debating it could be Green Book, but I want it to be Weiss. I really don't know which way it's going to go. You tend to win if you win in the Golden Globes category. The same thing, you tend to win the Oscar for it. So I think it's going to be Green Book, but I want it to be Weiss.
Okay. Demetri.
Yeah, I mean, I would very much like it to be Green Book. To be honest, I don't understand why Roma is there. Like, what screenplay was
For
there in
screenplay.
Roma? I don't
Right. It's more
I
like
mean, it's
personal adaptation of his life.
but I mean, the Green Book to me is, that was a movie that worked, and it was, it's a story about a real odd couple, and it's a good crowd pleasing movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. The other thing, it could go to The Favorite for its, very acerbic nastiness. But personally, I want the Green Book.
Yeah.
That's what I go for.
I'm predicting a career Oscar for Paul Schrader here.
Say that again?
Oh, for first performance?
I'm predicting a career Oscar for Paul Schrader. Even if it's not the best script of the year, I think the Academy feels like his due is up, and I think he's going to win.
Interesting.
All
All right. I'm going to note that.
All right.
Mr. Graham.
Oh, also, I love your note about Sorry to Bother You. That was one of my favorite movies of the
loved
year.
that
I thought
film.
it was so great. It was so creative, and I'm shocked that it got nothing.
Yeah. No
It was
love.
so creative.
No love
Neither
there.
did The Hate You Give.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
yeah, no,
That
I
as
have
well.
it. I have that farther down in my list, but we're definitely getting there because we're slowly running out of time. Moving on to adapted screenplay, we have the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Klansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, A Star Is Born. Ooh, I have
So
it.
hard.
It's a toss up between Black Klansman and If Beale Street Could Talk for me.
Yeah, I'm going to say If Beale Street Could Talk, you're adapting it from a book, and I don't know, it could be A Star Is Born, although I don't think A Star Is Born, this one was the strongest adaptation because there have been 3 other versions. So I'm going to have to say If Beale Street Could Talk. It's really hard to make something like that engaging and good when it's coming from a book.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Black Klansman or If Beale Street Can Talk. If I had, my heart goes with Black Klansman. I think that it's definitely one of the best pictures of the year. And I think what it was able to accomplish from a screenplay and from performance, but its screenplay was able to juggle so many things. And it could go, it added things of humor. That there was some satire, there was some political, social commentary, and it all did it in a way in which you never felt like you were taking your medicine. It never really beat you over the head with it, and I really thought that the screenplay to that was brilliant. So I would love to see Black Klansman go. I think it's a toss-up. I'm going with Black Klansman. I wouldn't be surprised if Beale Street Could Talk takes it away.
I'd have to say honorable mentions. I think Colette should have been nominated because that's a real life story, and I think Keira Knightley did fantastic as Colette. And not a lot of people know the story. It's about a woman who ghost wrote for a man, and
her
he's
husband,
and he's the one who got all the credit. So it's good that they gave a movie focusing on the woman's point of view. And where was that in the nominations? And The Hate You Give.
Yeah, The Hate
Definitely.
You Give. I was again that's another movie that didn't get a lot of love this year. There was a little bit of controversy about the movie, about the novelization and the adaptation from book to screen, which made no sense to me. And I actually had a conversation with the lead with Star about this, and it was just a silly. I don't get it. People said that the character wasn't dark enough in the movie as opposed to the book, and I was like, okay. And I had a conversation with my neighbors who I was trying to get them to watch the movie, and I said, forget about all that and just watch the movie. I go, did you
a
read
very
the book?
strong,
No.
solid
And they're
movie.
like, just watch the movie and judge it on that. I go, and what they were able to accomplish from a movie and putting it from book to screen, I think again, a missed opportunity for the
Yes,
Academy.
definitely missed opportunity, and great performances in that as well.
Fantastic.
Moving on to animated shorts, we have Animal Behavior, Bow, Late Afternoon, One Small Step, and The Weekends. Honestly, I haven't seen any of these, so it's hard for me
Same.
to give anything.
For me, it's
but-
Bow.
Bow.
Which was on the head of, I believe it was on the head of Incredibles 2.
Oh, I have seen Bao. That's the one about the dumplings.
Chinese mother and the dumpling.
Yeah, the dumpling. That was so cute.
And
You're right.
What
I
to
have
me
seen
Bao was able to accomplish is while you're watching it, you're going, this is just weird. Like this is like what is going on here? And then,
but emotionally felt.
But you feel it at the end,
right.
when everything ties in, and it's the harmony of the dumpling and the harmony of the family. I thought it was, and then when it was over, I was like, wow, like, that was beautiful.
Darn it, Disney, you got me again in 7 minutes.
It was a beautiful short.
Darn. All right. Moving on to animated feature, we have Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Spider-Man Into the Universe. Honestly, Spider-Man Into the Universe, because visually is just something we have not seen yet. With all the animated films that we've had in the past 20 years, Spider-Man was definitely new and original. So, and it's winning all the awards. So I give it to Spider-Man.
The only reason I give it to Spider-Man, even though I haven't seen it, is because it's won all of the awards, which leads me to believe it's going to win the Oscars.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Isle of Dogs. I thought it was a really solid story, and it was very heartwarming and great style, and I like the stop motion animation.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was going to be Incredibles 2 until Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came along.
Yep.
And it wasn't just because of the style of animation as well. The story for which it told, it really was taking from the Pixar book. Like you can use that medium to tell some fantastic stories. And it's such a wonderful, lovely art form. And they don't have to just be geared towards kids. We're going to talk more about this next week when we talk about How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh, it's so good.
But the medium in this case is as Pixar uses it, it's a tool. The first and foremost, you need a story. And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse had a story.
It had like
really
7 different stories, but somehow it was still like very cohesive.
But its main story too, I mean, it was really fantastic in the way that it was able to blend all those styles together and make it comprehensible. That it's going to win.
Exactly.
So Pixar, you're running animated. It's going to end, but you're going to lose to a good competitor.
Yeah, it's okay because even next year they'll have Toy Story 4 in the running.
Yeah,
so
I don't feel bad for
take
that.
a break this year.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're like it won't take away any of the other awards you've already won.
Brad Bird had said he thinks Into the Spider-Verse is going to win.
Right.
Brad Bird.
I mean, come on. All right, moving on because we only have a few more minutes left. Director. Ooh, there's big categories. We have the big categories now. Director: Spike Lee for Klansman, Paweł Pawlikowski for Cold War, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, and Adam McKay for Weiss. Alfonso. I'm going to give it to Alfonso.
This is so hard. Like, every single person on there is so deserving of this in my eyes. But I'm going to have to say Alfonso Cuarón as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Roma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alfonso.
Look, I wanted to go to Spike Lee. I think he made his most accomplished movie of his career, and he's made many great movies. But BlacKkKlansman, to me, I think what he was able to, from a directorial standpoint, what he was able to pull out of performances for his actors, that's the movie that I'd want to win. I think it's going to unfortunately go to the movie that 90% of the people in this country couldn't see in a theater. So
Right, and also, I mean, you've heard it from everybody else, but Bradley Cooper definitely should have been nominated. And I also think Josie Rourke for Mary Queen of Scots. There were no female nominations for a director, and like it still pisses me off.
yeah, I was very. Just when all the awards, not just the Academy Awards, I was surprised of the lack of Bradley Cooper being nominated for director. This movie, A Star Is Born, rested on his shoulders, and they were using his name like front and center. Like this is a Bradley Cooper film, and that's like that was his first movie. If that movie sucked, it could have torpedoed his career, but it didn't. And I think the movie lives and breathes. Again, just going back into the concert footage and what he was able to get out of Lady Gaga and Sam Elliott as an actor.
Yeah.
What he was able to do, I was very surprised.
Even Dice.
Even Andrew Dice Clay.
Andrew Dice Clay.
And again, the concert footage, like when
But it helps that he's already an experienced actor who's been in other Academy Award nominated films, worked with other Academy Award directors, you know. So like he has the experience that he put into his work.
He had far more. That movie was far better than I ever anticipated it to be, and in part because of his direction. He surprised me as to how capable he was.
Yeah, it was my favorite of 2018, obviously. All right, moving into supporting actors, we have Amy Adams for Weiss, Marina de Tavira for Roma, Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk, Emma Stone, the favorite, and Rachel Weisz, the favorite. I would say Regina King, she's already won a Golden Globe and Critics' Choice, and girl is due. She's had an amazing career, and she hasn't won.
Yeah.
Girl is due.
I feel, no disrespect to Amy Adams, but I feel like we can rule her out for Weiss. I don't think she had a super strong performance portraying Dick Cheney's wife. I thought for the longest time it would be Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk. She had a very powerful performance, especially when she's trying to change her wig and decide if she wants to wear the wig, not wear the wig. And then you have that emotional breakdown later on in Beale Street where she just feels like, wow, I've tried everything and this lady won't budge and so much is on the line right now. Very powerful performance. However, I think now after seeing Roma, I really did like Marina de Tavira's performance. I thought it was very strong. I think she did the perfect job balancing, you know, the nurturing mom with the wife who's been betrayed, with, you know, trying to be the friend of the maid, but also the boss of the maid. She had such a wonderful performance. I think she could be the one who kind of like rises from the shadows and steals that Oscar from Regina.
And surprises.
Yeah,
right.
She could be a huge surprise.
Demetri, quick.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to go to Regina King for sure. For me, it was sad that Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz are cannibalizing each other from the favorite. I think both. I think I can't look at either performance and go, "Oh, you were better than this one." I thought they were so amazing together. It's hard for me. I feel bad. I actually do. I feel bad for them because it's like people ask me, I'm like, my head explodes. I'm like, they're both fantastic. Like, I can't look at one and say that they were better because they were so good. On Meet the Movie Press, I had said Rachel Weisz because I haven't seen her in a while. And it was great to see her. And you go, God, it's really great to see her. And she's so good. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to go Regina.
Yeah. All right, moving on to supporting actor, we have Mahershala Ali for Green Book, Adam Driver, Black Klansman, Sam Elliott, A Star is Born, Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell, Vice. I would love Mahershala Ali because he's won Golden Globe, the SAG, Critics' Choice, and BAFTA for his role for Green Book. So I definitely think Mahershala's going to get it.
It's going to be Mahershala Ali, and, you know, good for him. He already got it for Moonlight.
Yeah.
So,
he's
also,
so good.
By the way, first Muslim actor to win an Oscar.
Yeah, good for him. So win another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to go to him, but personally, I'm rooting for Adam Driver. I have not seen a performance this year that has been so nuanced and so complicated in what he had to carry off. There are scenes in that. I mean, it was conflict that was brought up on him, and it was it was a character that was becoming self-aware of his religious history that he didn't care for, as it was stated at the beginning of the movie. Driver's performance in this, where he had to play racial bigot and he had to rethink his own humanity. He had to rethink his human nature.
Right.
I thought it was the best performance of all. I won't be, if Ali wins, I will not be unhappy because it's such a good movie too. And he was fantastic in it. It's a really good movie.
I think the moment that I would give it to Mahershala was when he's out on the street and it's raining at night.
Sure, absolutely.
And he's like, if I'm not black enough, what am I? If I'm not white enough, what am I? And I'm like, yep, give it to him now.
They're going to probably
right now.
use that
just
clip.
like call cut and give him the award.
Yeah.
So, and like Mahershala's killing it. He's been having a solid 3 years.
He was in Alita too, which we're going to cover next.
He's been in Alita. He's been in this one. He was in
He's on
obviously
True Romance right now.
Yeah, True Romance.
Not True True
no, True
Detective.
Detective.
Oh, yeah.
True
movie.
Detective.
Different movie, different-
Green Book, but he was also in Hidden Figures last year. So
Right.
like he's having a solid year.
Good for him.
2 years really.
Deserving.
So moving on to lead actress. Whew, we only have 3 more categories left, and these are the doozies. Leading actress, we have Yalitza Aparicio from Roma, Glenn Close, The Wife, Olivia Colman, The Favorite, Lady Gaga, Star is Born, Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me? Honestly, I think Glenn's gonna take it, even though I think a runner-up to that would be Lady Gaga for sure.
I wonder if Yalitza Aparicio with 0 acting experience is going to take the Oscar just because they love Roma so much. I think it should be Lady Gaga as well. Her performance was so moving, and for her to be a singer who doesn't typically act, to just have that stunning performance, wow. Hats off to her.
Wow.
I loved her performance. I thought it was incredible.
Because you're not watching Lady Gaga, you're watching an actress get lost in a performance. You're watching an actual performance.
I don't think it's
You're
going to be her,
watching
though.
a character.
No,
I don't
Yeah.
think she's going to
I
win.
don't think it's gonna
but
be her
I want
either.
it to be her. She had one of my favorite performances of the year.
It's definitely deserving of a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it is definitely deserving, and again, it's another aspect of the film that Bradley Cooper, as a director, was able to get out of her this amazing performance. Personally, I do think it's going to go to Glenn Close. It just seems the numbers are all there for her.
been winning it.
But I would love to see Olivia Colman win for The Favorite. I think that her tragic performance of that queen, I thought was just amazing. So, it's unfortunate. And again, as Melissa McCarthy, she was very good in Can You Ever Forgive Me? Lady Gaga, listen, she should be thrilled that she was nominated because it's worthy. It's a worthy nomination for sure. So she has, if she chooses to do so, working with the right people, she has a career ahead of her as an actress.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, moving on to lead actor. We have Christian Bale for Weiss, Bradley Cooper, Star is Born, Willem Dafoe at Eternity's Gate, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, Viggo Mortensen for Green Book. Rami.
Yeah.
He's winning everything.
Oh.
His performance was so incredibly solid. I mean, movement coach. Granted, he wasn't really like singing per se, because you can't really mimic Queen and just Freddie Mercury in and of himself, because he's already a legend. So it is to re-sing songs of him. But Rami, you believed the character. You believed his mom. And it's like he's such a strong actor, and he's winning all the awards too. So
Yeah.
odds are definitely in his favor.
100% Rami Malek. I'm a little biased. Gotta support my Arab brother over here. But he had such an amazing performance. This is like his breakout role. I mean,
Other than Mr. Robot?
I think other than Mr. Robot, yeah, because this is film. So I just feel like this is really like the movie that's putting him on the map, because everyone's seen Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like loved by audiences more than critics, I think. And I really, really, really hope he wins. I think the second in line would be Christian Bale, but I hope it goes to Rami Malek. His performance was absolutely incredible.
All right, Demetri.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. The Academy loves a transformation, and had Rami Malek not been in this category, I would definitely go Christian Bale, because his performance is not too dissimilar to Gary Oldman's performance as Churchill. I mean, it was that transformative, right? I mean, and he is amazing as a role, but I think the numbers and everything else is going Rami's way. The other thing too is, and look, I wouldn't be disappointed if Christian Bale won, but if Rami wins, the other thing that we know for a fact is we're going to get a very gracious, amazing acceptance speech from the gentleman. So,
Christian's
I
already
think
won multiple times.
I think it's going to go to
Rami.
him.
Yeah.
I think another honorable mention that I think Lucas Hedges for Boy Erased should have been definitely considered.
Listen, if we want to talk about actress, I don't know how Julia Roberts got overlooked for Ben is Back.
Yeah.
I just don't I don't get it. again, a woman who's been in this industry for a ton of years, this to me was, she utilized everything that she's done and she put it into this movie. And I think Ben is Back is another movie that didn't get a lot of love because it's not quite the movie you might think it is. You know, it's this movie about drugs, but then it becomes a very dark film noir movie.
It became
becomes
more
a
about
mystery.
a family element, and it's somewhat like mystery thriller.
Yeah, it turns into something you don't expect in
Exactly.
this kind of a movie. And Julia Roberts' performance, there's a scene in a mall where she confronts a doctor.
Ooh.
Oh,
Complete twist.
my God. So
But go watch
amazing.
Ben is Back, and I still think Ben is Back was better than Beautiful Boy, which that was like early in the race when people were picking that.
Very early.
And where is it nominated? Nothing, because Ben is Back is actually a stronger film.
Oh,
All right.
amazing.
And if we're like, I know we're kind of going back, but like even for a Best Supporting Actor, I think Russell Hornsby for The Hate You Give.
Oh,
He was fantastic.
I don't get it.
He should have been nominated.
I don't get it.
I don't know. I think he was the best character in that whole
He
film.
was amazing.
All right, moving on to the one and only, of course, Best Picture. We have Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star Is Born.
And Weiss.
And Weiss, yes. I was sorry. I was reading my.
Snub.
I was reading my.
Snub the movie that's nominated.
All right. No, like I was going. A Star Is Born, and I was reading my personal option. I have either Black Klansman or Bohemian Rhapsody. But I think it should be Green Book. It's already won Best Picture once for Golden Globes. I would not knock it. It's a very solid film. And wouldn't be the first time a feel-good movie has won Academy Award either. So, but people love Bohemian Rhapsody. People love Green Book. I mean, I personally loved A Star Is Born, but it's the fourth adaptation. It's hard to pick another one, but it's really up in the air.
I can't see it being Green Book. I think Green Book is something that would have won Best Picture in the 1990s. I feel like it's one of those movies that it's solid, it's inspirational, but then here we have a white male protagonist who is trying not to be racist, even though he grew up that way without knowing. I don't think it's a compelling enough story.
You know, but I take umbrage with what you say because both characters grow. Like, this isn't a movie, like, this isn't the white savior movie that people are making it out to be. No. It really isn't. Because Marisa,
he helped him too.
Right. I mean, he's a man that was so insulated on himself that because of this, and because of their friendship, they both come away learning something about life. And they both come away being better people for being together. And Dr. I forget the jazz player's name, but his character is much saved Viggo Mortensen's relationship by helping him like write the letters and learn about work. And then Dr. Shirley. I mean, I really, for some reason, I've been hearing about this white savior thing, and I'm like going, what movie did you watch?
Yeah,
like, I guess you could make it. And while I watched Green Book, I saw this about two people who, from diverse backgrounds, there's a racially charged element to this movie, and they come away becoming best friends and learning from one another's traits and habits and positive traits. And that, to me, is what I took away from Green Book. I don't get that. I just don't. It's not about white savior. To me, it really was not about white saviorship. He didn't save him.
So who do you think is going to win?
Well, listen, I would love to see Green Book because I am always of the opinion that feel-good movies, like movies that reach out to people and make them feel good, should win. I want Black Panther to win, just because of everything that I had spoken before. I think, though, I think it's gonna go to Roma. I think it's gonna go to Roma, but I would rather see Green Book or Black Klansman.
Right.
Get it.
Like, I could see it going to Roma only because the Academy Award loves Alfonso Cuarón so much. And if you think about it, in the last few years of Academy Awards, it's like we know we had the trifecta of our Mexican and Spanish directors. We have Alfonso Cuarón, Guillermo del Toro's
Sure.
year was last year, and the year before that we had Iñárritu. Like, we know those three are friends, collaborators.
Oh, yeah.
Academy loves them. Whatever they do, just give them all the awards. So last year was Guillermo del Toro's year. The year before was Iñárritu. I think this year they're going to give it come back to Cuarón.
I think so.
Like,
I
I would not
again,
be surprised.
my biggest
Academy
can
Awards
only-
is there's a lot of nepotism there, a lot of favoritism, really.
there is. I just again a movie that 90% of the country could not see in a movie theater doesn't qualify for an Academy Award.
Yeah,
To me,
but-
when you're unable to just see the movie because of its release schedule, everybody can't see it on Netflix. That's fantastic.
Everyone can see it.
But is it a theatrical movie? Like, how can you really talk cinematography for a movie that you saw on your TV? I mean, I'm sorry. It just doesn't replace that theatrical experience. That's my Roma soapbox. I think it's going to go there. I think they are, for in part that reason.
They love,
But they-
love the Mexican Spanish directors.
Well, yeah, I just think...
I honestly, this is the first year that I'm looking at all of the Best Picture nominees, and I'm just like, I'm not overly impressed with any of them. I enjoyed Weiss. I loved it. It was one of my favorite movies. I don't think it deserves a Best Picture win.
No.
I loved A Star is Born. I don't think it deserves a Best Picture win. I did enjoy Green Book, despite the comment that I made. I really did enjoy it. I just don't think it deserves a Best Picture win either.
I like
the favorite. I genuinely don't think it deserves a Best Picture win. Bohemian Rhapsody was one of my favorite movies of the year because I loved Rami Malek's performance, but I do not think it deserves
So
Best
then what do
Picture.
you
Okay,
think
yeah.
is Best Picture?
I think Best Picture is going to be the only movie that I haven't seen, which is Black Klansman. I genuinely think it's going to go to that. I want to see it. Just so that I know for sure, but I think it's going to be that because I think that's probably the strongest one because I was not overly impressed with the rest of them.
But I wasn't overly impressed with Black Klansman. Admittedly, like, I just watched it for the first time. It's a very polarizing film. Very polarizing film.
But it's a true story.
Yes,
Again,
it's a true
another
story, but also it's also sad, and it's not for everybody. I mean, like, you can arguably say, like, all these films aren't for, like, specific demographics, but when you watch Black Klansman, it's a hard film to swallow.
It can be.
And it'd be hard for that film to win Best Picture too.
I think it's gonna be Roma or it's gonna be Black Klansman. That's my prediction. It's gonna be
I would
one of
love
them.
it for it to be that. Look, I
Unless Roma wins
appreciate.
Best Foreign Film, that it could win Best Foreign Film, which would knock it out of the running for Best Picture. I think.
I don't know. I mean, I would if it would be that's going to be an interesting category for when it comes up. Listen, and I'm happy. Albeit, listen, I don't think Bohemian Rhapsody is necessarily Best Picture. The movie has its flaws. Black Panther. Look at it. Black Panther's a great. It's an excellent MCU
solid film.
movie. It really is. I'm glad actually that it got nominated.
recognition.
No, I
Yeah.
really
I'm glad it got
am for that.
recognition.
Me too.
Because
And-
it is deserving of recognition.
It
Is it
is.
deserving of Best Picture? I don't think so.
I mean,
No.
Dark Knight was deserving of a nomination. It didn't get a nomination.
That's why we have the supposed 10 categories, which they don't fill all the slots, too.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that just pisses me off about the Academy Awards. I do think that we have, when you look at these movies offer variety. These movies offer art house fare. They offer commercial.
Different
they offer
demographics.
different demographics. This is what I like about this year's category for Best Picture, is that it really did hit all quadrants for everybody who likes to go to the movies. It's the way it should be.
That's a great point. They're all so different.
All
They
so
all
different.
have their own. Yeah, Black Panther was a cultural phenomenon. You
They
know,
are.
Black Klansman a little bit more niche. Bohemian Rhapsody, music lovers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything. There's something in here for everyone, which is a great point. I just don't think it's been the strongest list of nominees. I don't think 2019 is the strongest, but I'm super excited for the Oscars.
They are all strong films in and of themselves.
In and of themselves.
In
yeah.
and of themselves, they're very solid films. When you pit them against each other, it's really anyone's game.
It could be.
They're so different.
And again,
Yeah.
I'll just say, as I said,
And
at
I'll
the
give them
top-
that, and I give them diversity, because we're always talking about we need more diversity in Academy Awards. We're getting
We
it
got
with
it,
these films.
and I think 2018 was a really fantastic year for movie lovers and moviegoers, because you did have everything. You just can't say it was a superhero year because you didn't just have that. You had real life superheroes like RBG. You had stuff like that. You had Won't You Be My Neighbor, right? So you had The Favorite about not nice people. So I just think you had everything last year. It looks like this trend is going to continue in 2019. So, I'm ready for 2019 to see even more movies. So, yeah, who knows with this hostless Oscars? Could be a train wreck. That's why I'm watching.
But thanks everyone for tuning in. Those were our nomination predictions, and hopefully you guys tune into the actual Academy Awards because we know there's a lot of drama leading up to it. But hopefully the show itself, it's Academy Awards. It's still going to be prestigious in any shape and form.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for tuning in. In the meantime, where can we keep following you?
Hey everyone, I'm Mina Wahab. You can follow me on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic, and please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What are your Oscars predictions for 2019?
Yeah.
And you can find me on the Twitters at dmovies1701. You can find me here at Anatomy of Movie and also on Popcorn Talks, Meet the Movie Press.
There you go. And I definitely recommend that you guys listen to our Academy Award top Best Picture nominations because we cover them and the ones in between. Yes, we have covered all Best Picture.
All Best Pictures and everything else.
Maybe we should start a playlist with all those. But definitely check it out and check out our other shows here at Popcorn Talk. Thanks everyone. We'll see you at the movies.
Enjoy.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.